Perfect. Thank you, Minister Fraser, for appearing. And we've known each other since we both attended the Conservative convention in Halifax there. So it's been a while. So I'm hoping we can leverage some of this because we do have a very serious issue in front of us. As we know, mortgages are doubled, rents are doubled. We have people living in tents from coast to coast to coast, including in your very riding, Minister. So I want to start out with the Housing Accelerator Fund. It started over 3 years ago. It's $4 billion invested. How many houses have been built?
So the Housing Accelerator Fund only started reaching agreements in September of this year. So though it was campaigned on in 2021 and budgeted in 2022, the actual fund led to agreements beginning in September of this year. It's also important to understand the Housing Accelerator Fund doesn't go toward the cost of building houses. It goes towards incentivizing changes at municipal levels that will speed up permitting processes and end exclusionary zoning and increase density around post-secondary institutions, infrastructure, transit, etc. So it's one that will lead to more homes, but the nuance in your question is important. It doesn't actually lead to the construction of specific homes.
I understand. Thank you, Minister. But at the end of the day, what we need and what Canadians need is an urgency. In fact, Mr. Dugan came to this committee in 2018 and said that he warned your government that there was a housing supply issue. So we're in a crisis now. So how many houses has the Housing Accelerator built? 4 billion and 3 years later.
So again, the Housing Accelerator Fund, and I don't mean to be difficult here, the Housing Accelerator Fund does a different thing than your question suggests it does. It is expected with the deals that we've signed so far that it will lead to the construction of, or to the addition of more than 500,000 homes over the next decade. But that's not as a result of actually the money going towards construction.
I understand. I don't want to be disrespectful or crosstalk. But today, as of date, you can't point to one key indoor, one new bedroom, one new house is built as as a direct result of the Housing Accelerator Fund.
So I see what you're trying to get towards here. I think it's important to understand when we're signing agreements to change rules in September that it takes more than a few months to actually build out the homes, many of which will be multiplexes or apartment buildings as well. So this is actually, in my view, the fund that has most outperformed very high expectations of anything that I've seen.
Minister, in terms of performance, we have 0 keys and doors. And your government was warned, and Mr. Dugan told us in testimony in September in 2018, we have 0 houses and doors because of the Accelerator Fund. Isn't that true?
Look, I completely disagree with your characterization. And for what it's worth, there are hundreds of thousands of homes that are built or renovated as a result of programs that have been in place since then. But with respect to the Housing Accelerator Fund, this is proving its merit. There are deals with 36 cities who have already changed the ways that they allow homes to get built. We've witnessed in the past 6 months the largest upzoning in Canadian history in cities right across the country. And next week, we're going to start working with small towns and rural communities. So this has been a very big success.
Thank you, Minister, but that's cold comfort at best to Canadians who are continuing to live in tents.
And we want to help them too.
2 million going to food banks, and a whole generation that's given up on housing because of your government. Will any bonuses be paid? Will any bonuses be paid out? Have you signed off on any bonuses for 2023 for any government officials in charge of housing? I think, given the status that an entire generation has given up on home ownership, that rent evictions are up, that rental costs are doubled, and mortgages are doubled, I would say strongly that most Canadians don't believe they deserve a bonus.
So I don't personally assign bonuses to public servants, and frankly, my time is far better spent on advancing measures that are going to get more homes built and to help people in need. The compensation of public service is done independently of my ministerial office.
So officials will receive bonuses for the housing hell that your government has started. That's fine.
That's not the answer that I gave.
My apologies for the crosstalk, Mr. Chair. The gap, CMHC has said that the housing gap between now and 2030, the number that's been used has been 3.5 million. The CIBC came out 2 days ago and said the gap is actually 5 million homes. Would you care to comment on that, Minister?
Yeah, we need to build a lot of homes. I think my opening statement, though I didn't have it written down, was that we need to build homes and build them by the millions. The scale of the challenge is not lost on me. Despite the enormity of that challenge, I believe we can solve the housing
question,
crisis.
Minister, sorry.
So, MP Lawrence,